Seeking English SAT Workbook, page 419, problem 1, no calculator. Problems 1 and 2 on this page refer to the same graph that I'm not going to show you, although I will describe parts of it to you. It says, according to the graph above, for which month was sales minus cost the greatest? And it shows, in the graph, it shows months January, February, March, April, and May. It has a solid line indicating cost, connecting those dots. And it has a dotted line connecting dots for sales. And on the other axis, it says millions of dollars. So there's an amount that shows cost, and there's an amount that shows sales, and there's a gap in between. And all you really need to be concerned with here is that gap in between. You could calculate that gap, but since it is not visually reliable, you would not get a very precise answer, and you don't need a precise answer. They're not asking for the amount, they're just asking for which month is sales minus cost the greatest. Sales minus cost is going to be indicated by the vertical distance of that gap between those two lines. So let's take a look. January is not one of the options, but the gap there is one long. It's between 10 and 15. Okay. February is one of the options, and it has a gap of approximately two increments. That is 15 up to 25. These are increments of 5. March has a gap of 1, which is actually 5. Okay, 1 unit from 20 up to 25. I have not explained it well. I'm explaining it well enough. April shows a gap of 3 spaces for that would be $15 million, and May shows a gap of 2 spaces for $10 million. So the largest gap, regardless of whether it's millions of dollars or whether it's some other thing, that the largest gap is April. 3 of those increments is more than some smaller number of those increments, regardless of what those lines indicate. It's a longer line, and that's a positive data space. So it's something like $15 million, but again, the precise amount does not matter. Okay, troubling yourself during the test over, is it slightly larger, okay, no, that's clearly the largest gap, and I know I have explained it a lot, but I want to emphasize that that you do not want to overthink this. If your eyes tell you the correct story about the graph, you're done. Okay, if you're a person whose eyes don't work that way, you may be able to do better on this. Okay, and there may be math problems at which you are especially good, in spite of having a hard time understanding this graph. But you are still entitled to those points if you can figure it out. So if you are having a problem with this graph, tell me. Okay, if you feel like you're not having a problem in the graph, you probably are not. And as always, I caution you not to imagine your algebra teacher behind you demanding an explanation. Your algebra teacher is not going to be there. I'm not going to be there. Okay? If you want to visualize somebody demanding an explanation, visualize me demanding an explanation of why you're overthinking it.